a longer week than normal for me, anyways. But we made it. We made it. And we're gonna talk about our Foundry VTT / Pathfinder 2e homebrew house rules mechanics stuff that we've been working on that is outside of Raw, but that as we play more and more Pathfinder, we're getting more and more comfortable homebrewing stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So at the tail end of last year, I really just got tired of our Fanspiration system. Mostly because I just felt like it was cheapening the game. I had a couple of players message me privately. They kind of expressed their distaste for it and their disappointment in it kind of cheapening the game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Their words kind of put words to my feelings about how I had been feeling about it, both as a DM, a GM, and as a player. Where if nothing bad is ever happening to us, I mean, it's not as exciting as like what is this? What would that spell have done? Like, what would that special ability have done? Like, what could have happened? Like, there was just like, I don't know. I didn't like it. So, and it wasn't a big problem with every game or anything like that, but it was taking, in my opinion, a lot of the tense moments that we could have had and sort of like brushing them aside. Plus, somehow, possibly because Lex streams a lot, and sometimes I'll stream like a lot of like a video game or something, peeps were farming hella points. Hella points. I know that my own wife is sitting on like 200,000 channel points across all of the different streamers that we have. That's a lot of fanspiration, you know. We had somebody's girlfriend, redeem 14 fanspos at once for one specific character. I mean, it is just crazy. So, you guys were really cool. The other DMs in the server, you kind of listened to my feels and my complaints, and we all kind of like started like putting our coconuts together, like what could we do that wouldn't completely get rid of fanspiration, because it is a nice thing that's kind of unique to our server of like, people can watch the games and support the streamers, but then they can also like support the players and the games that they like. And there's been a lot of like really clutch moments that were caused by or saved by like fanspiration. So it is a part of the ecosystem of our games. But I would like to kind of return to a more, I don't want to call it honest, you know what I'm saying, but I want to return to a more like grounded I guess, and save that more extreme like audience participation donation to pay to win for like charity events and stuff like that. Like I want to run games where like you got to manage your rerolls, and then what happens, and you do in fact let the dice tell the story. So the systems that people were bouncing around, there were quite a few of them. Darby and Leah had a nice one cooked up using the Harrow deck. You had a nice one that you cooked up with the like just a table, like a roll table, to kind of determine a shared buff across the whole party at the beginning of the session. And then I kind of did like a hybrid mashup of like those two systems, because I really love the Harrow deck, and I also loved the idea of different buffs that are sort of randomly drawn, and so having an excess of fanspiration would give you better odds of getting the right card draw for that particular session. And so I definitely felt like there was a lot of very powerful buffs being thrown around, like the Darby Muffin table. I thought some of them were like crazy strong, and then the more I looked at it, the ones that were crazy strong were situational. So it was like +4 to escape from a grapple, and it's like, well, you can go 3 sessions and never get grappled. You could probably go your whole life and never get grappled in Pathfinder if you have a good frontliner and you're, an evasive ranged unit. You know what I mean? So it was like, that doesn't seem like the kind of buff I want to hand out for a Fanspiration, right? Like something like that specialized. That's what the hero cards are for, right? The hero cards.
Yeah.
But their system is a replacement for the hero card system. Like and then your buffs, I felt were good. I didn't think too many of yours were too strong. And then overall, I was pretty happy with what I ended up cooking up, and I like what you got going with your table. I like the flexibility that mine's going to offer of if they draw more than one card, each person in the party can choose which of the drawn cards to benefit from rather than the whole team has to be locked into one card for the whole session. Because with the class diversity in Pathfinder, I feel like that's going to be a big enticement to draw more than one card, is to kind of get more chances for everyone to have something useful for that session. So therefore, a group is still going to appreciate having just an excess of stuff. Plus, when you draw 3 from my system, you give one of the cards back in the deck, ensuring that you're gonna keep getting to get that card. So
it also makes sense in your games because your games have a lot more Fanspo.
That's true. Yeah. Well,
you want them to be spending it.
For sure. I definitely I want them to still feel like redeeming Fanspo for games that they like, or even redeeming Fanspo for games that they're in. Does carry some benefit, right? And it is still pretty cool. Like, you're level 1, like my game last night, you're level 1 and you got a +1 to your charisma, not like a D&D +1, but like a Pathfinder +1. So like your charisma, that's pretty fucking huge, especially for that session, which was a lot of social interactions, gathering information. So it kind of worked out like really, really well. Is the +1 bonus still significant at higher levels in Pathfinder? Yeah. I mean, I think it still holds its own higher level. So do you want me to pull up your doc and you kind of walk us through your design process?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me see if I can find that.
I can give you a link real quick in Discord.
Is it just Dom Fanspo?
No, it's Fanspiration buffs.
Oh, Fanspiration buffs. Okay, Fanspiration buffs. There it is. All right. All right. So I'll drag this guy out. We'll take a look at it. Yep, dash me. Thanks. All right. So, it looks like, there we go. Comments are enabled, all that good stuff. I'll do fit so we can see a little bit more of it. Okay, so walk us through it. What made you decide that roll table was the right way to go? And with you, the amount of Pathfinder that you've played, the amount of D&D that you've run, the amount of homebrew that you've created, you're working on your own Pathfinder 2e subsystem for Monster Hunter, as we've discussed on VODCAST before. So walk us through what made you think like these were okay, these weren't overpowered, these would be enticing enough to take,
So one thing, this is kind of a combination of a lot of things kind of coming together. Just looking at Pathfinder and being more comfortable in the system, wanted to test out making cool stuff to custom abilities and stuff like that. And so that part of that is just doing that exercise for my own self. Another thing too is I think roll table makes it a little bit more exciting because you spin the Fanspo. When we re-roll, we're re-rolling a dice. I made sure I got 20 buffs so that it's a D20 when you roll. So I thought a roll table would probably be good because that way there's some variety, at least enough. Like it's not as boring as using a thing to avoid something bad. It is getting something that probably could help me this session.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I wanted to stop Fanspo for being helpful for one character and be something for the entire group, because the people who are paying their Fanspo are giving it to the game, not supposed to be giving it to one person.
Well,
You know,
I mean,
so
it's sort
not
of
anymore.
like it was sort of the Wild West, you know what I mean? It was just
Yeah.
kind of evolved into
The first,
well,
the
what
first
about
person
this
it
and what
was,
about that? Yeah.
yeah, first it was Lutheria getting fanspo, and then it was like, okay, if she can get it, then everybody else can get it.
Yeah,
Individuals can
and
get
then
it.
there would be like convoluted stuff like this is only for the first person that's trying to make a saving throw against lycanthropy, and it's
Mhm.
like, man, we can't keep track of that stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we got other stuff to
That,
do.
that kind of did come from Extra Life, though. I will say, like the whole
Oh,
like,
absolutely, yeah. And again,
yeah,
that's part of the culture that we've created, the
hmm
ecosystem we've
yeah,
created on the servers. We do
yeah,
love our roll tables. I mean, listen, you play Pathfinder, but you can't tell me that you don't miss the succeeded at cost roll tables, the consequence tables. I mean, the boons. Come on, man. Every fight in our 5e games, we had no idea what was going to happen. Like it was just chaos all the time. Pathfinder, the chaos I think just comes from us still being new to the system and people like dropping like a new spell or ability out that no one's seen, or a monster that
or
nobody's seen
monster,
before.
yeah,
So like
hazard,
we have
yeah,
that newness, right? Like by the time we
hmm
were doing sack and boons and all that kind of stuff, we had been playing so much 5e that there wasn't a lot of surprises left. So, but I do definitely feel, and maybe I don't actually feel like this because we have wild magic in my Outlaws game, so it's never stopped for me. It's never stopped for me. Yeah, the chaos hasn't stopped.
yeah.
And in your games, you do use the crit fumble cards and the crit hit cards, and you use them old school hardcore way where everybody uses them. Whereas I guess I found out that the modern way of doing it, or the way that the Pathfinder says to do it, is only named NPCs and only PCs can ever draw from those decks. And like that makes a lot of sense to me because over the years, and we discussed this last night in Skyhaven, over the years there's been a lot of players that were just, they had these badass characters, and then those badass characters who have fought dragons, who fought giants, who fought villains, they've been taken out by just a stray arrow. You know what I mean? Just like one bad day, one real lucky critical hit, and that character's toast. And I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool because that's life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people got a hard on for like that heroic fantasy story, and Pathfinder 2e is definitely a heroic fantasy game. So
and I kind of trust Pathfinder 2 to like if that stray arrow from the level -3 goblin that comes out, even if it does triple damage, that's not going to be enough to take out a character who's 3 levels above that thing.
Yeah,
True. And so
true.
so when you are going to get taken out because that triple damage thing got put in, it's not going to be enough damage to take you out for the maximum. Instantly kill you.
We hope not.
Because there's no way. You have to do exactly 2 times their HP in a single hit. That's not going to happen.
Fair.
I don't think so.
Well, what if I'm just fighting like 3 unnamed dragons that I found in a cave during a random encounter? You know what I'm saying? Do they get to pull crit cards? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I mean they do. Yeah, they do.
Okay, damn. They don't have names though. They don't have names.
And so do you.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
You can behead it with a dagger hit.
I see Remy in chat. This is big talk from Dom, who's never been eviscerated by critical hit deck like Remy
I'll make him a
has.
character.
You know what I'm saying? Woo. Okay. All right.
But yeah. So thinking about that, just wanted to add some spice and make Fanspo a little bit more group friendly and do stuff. I went through and try to come up with a bunch of buffs that could be universally good. I try to make them universally useful.
Yeah.
And make them evergreen too, so that as you get higher level, they're still better. They're still good. And some of them I took from like inspiration from video games that I just like. Like one of them, I don't know if you scroll down to the bottom, one of them is called Jolly Cooperation.
Jolly Cooperation right here.
Yeah.
Choose one fellow PC to be your co-op partner this session. For the session, when you aid that PC, the degree of success for the aid check is increased by 1 stage. This does not work the other way around unless that PC chooses you as their partner. If you are chosen as co-op partner and you agree, you cannot be chosen as a co-op partner by someone else. In other words, 4 PCs cannot choose one other PC to be their co-op partners. Okay. You and your co-op partner roll initiative for the same encounter. This is the triggered one. So this is if you use it, you lose it, right? If you use it, you lose it. Okay. You and your partner both roll initiative for the same encounter. Both partners must agree to activate this ability. It's free action. For this encounter, you and the selected co-op partner share initiative and act on the same turn. Activities and actions must be done resolved one at a time, but in any order, like Baldur's Gate 3.
Yep.
Oh man, that's pretty cool. At the start of the encounter, Darby didn't have harsh words for you on this, dude.
No.
This seems like something that he would be like, Dom, people are gonna abuse this, but maybe it's so obvious that people are gonna abuse this that he's like, I got nothing. I can't talk you out of this one.
Abuse it.
Let's see. For this encounter, at the start of the encounter, both partners must agree to use the higher or lower of their initiative roll. When a partner is dropped to 0, both partners move initiative as normal for dying. Oh, okay. Dying recovery checks happen at the start of a turn before a partner can take action. Both your partner and you lose Jolly Cooperation effect. Okay, that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you have an alternate one there called Rivals till the end. So you choose a rival instead of a co-op partner. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And you get bonuses from them failing.
Nice.
Yeah. So I want to try and do like interesting stuff like that's also would be interesting for people who spend the fanspo too to give to the team, because I feel like somebody watching will be like, oh man, I want to see them do team up stuff, or I want there's 2 characters that are upset with each other, so they end up be rivaling, like smack talking each other while they're during a session because they're rivals for the day.
See, that makes me wonder if fanspos are going to be spent at the beginning of the session and they're going to be spent in a more limited way. Like, should we record the names of the people who donated the fanspos? So, like, hey, this session we're drawn because of this. I mean, that seems like a lot of extra steps for sure.
No, I don't think so. We haven't been doing it since now, and I don't see why we would need to.
Well, before it could be like, I'm watching the stream live. I see that you're in trouble. I donate, not donate, but I cash in my channel points and I'm like, send it. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to save their life. They're in the toughest fight they've ever been in, and I'm here. And then now they know that my hand is on their shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the appeals of fanspo, of the old fanspo.
Yeah,
is
true.
Like spending it when they're in trouble.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope people can still find like joy in doing it. I was honestly prepared to just eliminate the fan inspiration system entirely. I mean, transparency. None of us that are affiliated are making any real money. Okay, like I don't know how often Dom gets a check from Twitch, but I'm gonna guess maybe once a year, maybe never in his life, right?
Never.
At the peak of my viewership, which was when me and Red were in the top 2% of Twitch streamers in the world. This is how broken the system is. I was getting, I think, maybe 3 checks a year for like $60. Like it doesn't. I don't like commercials. I don't like ads. And if we keep affiliate status, we have to let Twitch run ads during our streams. I would honestly be willing to get rid of Fanspiration just so that people didn't have didn't have to watch ads anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can get the $12.99 a month to not have ads. You can subscribe to the channel to not have ads or whatever. But again, we're not making any real money. You know what I'm saying? Like streaming these games. Like we don't run our own ads. We don't run our own ads on the VODs. So like I was very much like, cool, well, we're just going to get rid of it altogether. And then a lot of people, including my own kid, were like, you can't do that. It's been around for too long and people really like it. And so this is like the compromise we've had, but like I am probably going to keep an eye on it, because if people are like, oh, this is neat, but it just doesn't, it's not as fun as it was before, it's not as engaging as it was before, I don't really see the reason to get the channel points and cash them in anymore, that sort of thing, then I mean, at that point, might as well just drop our affiliate status so that nobody has to watch ads anymore. That's just my take on it. But I don't know. But some people are trying to go all the way to partner, you know what I mean? And so affiliate is that step on that journey to partner. So I guess I get it. But anyways, so of the 20 that you designed, what are the top 3 that you were like, these I'm really happy with this design, I think this is going to be really cool in gameplay? Or maybe just the top one. What's the number one? Was it Jolly Cooperation?
I want to see Jolly Cooperation be used, because my favorite thing about Pathfinder is teamwork, is working together, and so I definitely want to see people exploit on the same initiative doing actions like this together and do team up stuff, like I knock him prone, you hit him, and then he whatever. Yeah, do your thing, or like I cast a spell, you cast a spell, and then that's two spells on the same turn. I want to see those team ups.
And now, how is that going to work if we go in a full circle? There's 5 PCs, and it's like I'm supporting you, you're supporting them, you're supporting them. 5 stars, 5-pointed star. All of us activate this card for the same fight. Are we all just on one initiative for that fight?
No. So like I said, if you've been selected as somebody's partner, you can't select somebody else. So say in Strength of Thousands, all of you we get the thing. You guys go in the full circle, right?
Yeah.
You decide to work with, I don't know. Say you pick, I don't know, Chacharo for your Lotus picks Chacharo for their partner, and you guys decided to become the share your initiative. Chacharo has used his ability and lost the ability to use it. You lost the ability to use it. So now, if Chacharo had picked somebody else, he can't use the ability anymore, and nobody can use the ability on him.
Okay, so if there were 5 of us, there could be 2 pairs and then 1 odd man out. Okay. I got you. All right, of the 20 you designed, what's the one that you feel the least confident in? That you're like, this could have been better. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. I might have to change this after some playtesting. Like, which one are you the least?
Same thing. I mean,
your favorite one is also the one you have you're the most worried about. Okay.
Most worried about. The one that's the most boring, I think, is Hero or Longstrider.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Longstrider. I mean, listen, movement is so restrictive in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. I'd be happy as a pig in shit to get +5 untyped bonus, +5 untyped bonus to speed. Oh, I'll take it. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't even read the second part of it. I was like, that's fine. That's good enough for me. Longstride. What's the activated one? You take a stride action. If you have a fly, burrow, swim, or climb speed, you can use the corresponding action instead of a stride. You lose the Longstrider effect. Okay.
It's a free action stride, yeah.
And then hero is just straight up, for this session, you have 1 extra hero point. Does that include a hero card draw?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. I mean, that's pretty good too. I wouldn't mind that. That's getting your money's worth on a fanspo. 1 fanspo to get 5 fanspos. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
I mean, if you're old well enough, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited about it. I will tell you that in our first session of not having fanspos anymore, right, on Tuesday, I did feel a lot more like grounded in like what was going on when we got into the fight with the monsters and things like that, because those guys are doing like, they got poison, stuff like that. Like, if you ever wanted to have a reserve of fanspo to draw on to make sure that you're making that fortitude save, or you're making that, whatever death save that you need to do, that's the time, So like, I kind of felt like everybody, knowing that they couldn't just pull fanspo out of their butts, was being a bit more reserved on spending their hero points in the session. Yeah, I do feel like everybody was a lot more reserved. I feel like we had gotten to a point where we knew that we'd always have Fanspo if we needed it. So it was just like hero point. Ooh, I hit him, but I didn't critically hit him. I'll roll it again. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's fun, but like it does take a lot of the tension out of the game. And you know, I guess it depends on the kind of game you're running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last one, Portent.
Oh, which one?
Oh, Portent on the last one.
Oh, the last one?
It's Portent from the wizard.
Oh, nice. Roll a d20, record the result for this session. Dang, dude. I think you might regret this one. I don't know. Let's see. Trigger, a check is about to be made that involves you mechanically, and the roll has you mechanically. So you're either the target, or you're a target of, or you are making the roll. So you're in some way involved.
Oh, no. There's another one. There's another part in there.
Okay.
You're also involved if you have caused a debuff on the creature that has done it. So like if Lotus has evil eye on somebody, you're involved in their roll.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Activation. You can replace a single. So this doesn't have a passive because it's so strong.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Let's see. In chat, Remy says, seems like there have been a few campaigns that have lived and died on Fanspo. And yeah, I mean, not to. I mean, this is we're talking about homebrew. We're talking about homebrew. Well, it's not just Mythic. I mean, there were some fights.
19.
Well, yeah, I mean, 19 was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. It was like you guys were receiving embezzled money. I mean, that's kind of how it felt. But like, there were a few fights in all my campaigns where it would have been a TPK if not for Fanspiration, right? Like, it would have, you know, things were going south. And, you know, there have been fights in Mythic where it was a TPK even with Fanspiration, right? Like, things were just not going your way. Golden Ram fight, for example. Yeah. And it's just like, what I was noticing, though, is that, right, everything adapts, everything evolves, right? So, like, when I would design a boss, right, after a year or so of playing with Succeed at a Cost, I would make the DCs of the bosses high enough that it would make you succeed at a cost, so that the enemy was still creating some kind of threat with its saving throw based abilities. Because then you had to ask yourself, okay, do I accept the fact that I'm not going to make this roll? Or do I make the roll, but now something worse might happen to me, right? So, like, I evolved the gameplay around the homebrew systems, right? The homebrew systems came in and were like, this is what we do. And we're like, that's pretty cool. But after a while, they became like a part of the everyday part of the game. And so when I would design encounters, I would design encounters around our homebrew systems, right? The homebrew system was no longer just an add-on, it was a core feature, right? And so that sort of stuff got taken into account. Skill challenges, right? The penalty for failing skill challenge was having to roll on the sack table, right? The either in combat sack table or the out of combat sack table. So these things, you know, that started as sort of add-ons, like these add-on systems, became, for my games at least, like core features of the game, and then designing around them. One would argue then that if you're designing around the players having Fanspiration and you're designing around the players having succeeded at cost options, what is the point of having the Fanspiration? What is the point of having the succeeded at cost, right? If you just raise the bar, if you just move the finish line back further, then those systems are no longer providing an actual like advantage, right? Like, because now you're building around those systems, right? It's like a video game with auto adjusting difficulty, right? Like the game sees how well you're doing, and so all of the enemies suddenly become tougher so that you continue to be challenged as you play the game, right? Looking back, I don't regret doing that. But it also, for me, knowing that that was a part of the design, it made it a lot easier for me to just be like, well, why don't we just get rid of Fanspiration altogether? You know what I'm saying? Because I knew that if I got rid of Fanspiration altogether, I would just revert back to more like raw stats, you know what I mean? Like I would just be like, oh, so this monster, you know, it doesn't have, you know, a buff to its casting stat or whatever to raise its DC. It's just going to be manageable per the DC for that level kind of thing. So like, yeah, like I don't know, I don't know. So I do kind of like this idea because this is, to me, unpredictable because it's random and it's outside of the moment, right? So like we don't know. We've had sessions where no one used any hero points, right? Because the session was going really well, everyone was rolling really well, there was a lot of role playing and not a lot of checks being made. And so, you know, getting a third or fourth hero point, if you do the recap, right, that doesn't matter sometimes, right? There could be a session where it doesn't matter that you have +5 to your speed. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, since this is all random, there could be sessions where this changes everything, right? Like, having that extra 5 speed might change everything that session. But there's no way to design around that because it's not a predictable outcome, right? It got to a point where I knew the viewership of certain games and I knew the fanspo intake of certain games, right? And I would just be like, yeah, okay, so this boss, we could definitely tweak this boss to be a little bit tougher because I guarantee you they're gonna have enough fanspiration to like tank these moves, right? Like they're gonna have, you know, they have succeeded cost if they don't want to get petrified. So we can make this Medusa's DC against petrification a little bit higher to sort of bait out that succeeded cost roll so that they are still having that attrition, right? They didn't get turned to stone, but now they got another stack of exhaustion. You know, they didn't get paralyzed, but now they've got disadvantage to the rolls. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I like the idea with this system that we're moving in a direction where this is once again an add-on system. It's not like a part of the game, for me at least. I don't know how you designed around it. I don't think you ever designed around people having essentially unlimited fanspiration or you know, like leaning so heavy on succeeded to cost or anything like that. I mean, if I recall, in the Monster Hunter game you ran, I was one of the only people using succeeded to cost, and I was always messing myself up with it. I was SIBO shepping it all over the place. Like, it got to the point by the end of the campaign, I just was like, I want to actually participate in this fight. So I'm just going to accept that I missed and move on. Yeah, so I don't know. There's definitely a lot to think about with the when it comes to homebrew and what the long-term, short-term, you know, mid-term effects of that are going to be on the game. Like,
I mean, we'll see this year.
Exactly. All right. Well, I want to show off
your system.
My take on it. All right. Well, we could show off Darby Muffins real quick too, but I don't. Let's see. Player guide, I think it's called. Go. And hero card. All right. So in their game, they want to make the hero card system more enticing. So they don't use fanspiration in their games, but they do use hero cards. And even though they're officially made by Paizo, a lot of people consider the inclusion of hero cards and critical hit cards and critical fumble cards to all be homebrew, right? Because they're variant rules, they're optional rules, they're not raw. You wouldn't see it at Pathfinder Society, that kind of thing. But let's see. So they're doing the hero deck. The hero deck does play into that adventure a bit, and their breakdown was you draw from the deck, and then you get an ability based on the suit and the alignment of the cards, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And so there's 6 suits and there's 6 stats in the game. So the 6 suits are based on the 6 stats in the game. Really, really cool. And then there's the 9 alignments. And then 9 times 6 is 54 cards in the deck. Honestly, brilliant stuff. Brilliant. Everything about the hero deck, I just think it's really, 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 really cool. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, theirs were like kind of all over the place. Like there were some that were like super specialized, but they were very strong to kind of compensate for being super specialized. There were some that were like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then there were some that were like, this is in the middle, like, yeah, this would be useful to have. And to me, that sums up the hero deck that they use in Pathfinder. You've got cards that you're like, I would never use this. And then you've got cards that are like, I can't wait to use this. And then you got cards that are like, this might be useful in the session. Yeah. It's always a bad feel when you draw really good but very specific hero cards because you don't want to discard any of them. And so, like, you think hard about re-rolling your dice because you're like, I don't want to get rid of either of these cards because there are really good cards. So maybe I'll just take a fail on this so that I can hold on to these cards a little bit longer. So I like that quite a bit. But yeah, their hero deck sort of system is what inspired me to kind of take the table a little bit further. And so what I did was same deal. It's based on the suits and it's based on the alignments, even though, you know, they got rid of alignments or whatever. Let me see, where did I put the stuff? Oh yeah, it's in this meta document. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Meta mechanics for 2025 games. No longer using success to cost. Let's see. We'll only be using crit hit and fail cards and stolen fates. I said that, but then I did allow Skyhaven to kind of vote them in. So I don't know.
Did we say we want to use them or not in Kingmaker?
I don't think I actually proposed it one way or the other for Kingmaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of want to keep Kingmaker. This got enough systems and stuff going on already. I kind of want to keep it. Where I want to cut the fat where I can. Hero cards will continue to be used. If you receive a hero point during a session, you may also draw a new hero card. When you spend a hero point, you must discard a hero card. When you use a hero card, you must delete a hero point and activate the card. All players receive 2 hero points at the beginning of the session. Player who does the recap gets a 3rd hero point and a 3rd hero card. Player who answers the Factspiration question will receive a D3 Factspiration die. They can ask the same question of any willing PC or any NPC they met. If a willing PC answers, they receive a +1 die roll, but not a D3. So again, and the power, magic of friendship, teamwork, blah blah blah. You know, you guys have given me a soft heart over there in Stolen Fates. You know what I'm saying? You give me a soft heart over there. But it is kind of nice to share the wealth a little bit, and it does create an incentive to answer the question if you lost the roll. Because hey, in Pathfinder, I'll take a +1. You know what I'm saying? I'll take a +1. Changing the way Fanspiration works, Curse of Strahd, Daybreak, and High Noon will continue to use Fanspiration like those. Fanspiration costs have been increased 15k channel points on all affiliated channels. Fanspiration can be given to an active game, but not to a specific player, PC, or NPC. And it says active game, so you guys gotta stop stockpiling your Kingmaker stuff ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Like wait till the campaign's underway. But it's fine. It's fine. GMs cannot receive Fanspiration. People were giving Fanspiration to Strahd. Like, Strahd doesn't need Fanspiration. Like, don't give him anything. He doesn't deserve anything nice ever. Lutheria deserves Fanspiration. She's a sweetie. But Strahd, he doesn't get anything nice. And then Fanspiration will be used to draw from the hero deck at the start of each session. So with the hero deck, you could draw 1, 2, or 3 cards, and then based on how many cards you draw, the players may, per player character, select which card they will be using that session, which, again, I think is super dope. If you draw 3 cards at once, after everyone's done picking which card they're going to be affected by, you can return one of those cards to the deck, which increases the likelihood that you'll draw it again. And if you if you somehow have enough fanspo to just keep doing this, you could be drawing 3 every session, keep your favorite card in the deck for as long as possible. Once you go to draw and there's not enough cards left in the deck, you do have to finish up the deck, and then it gets reshuffled into a fresh deck. So pretty cool.
So you have to draw multiple cards to keep one in the deck?
Correct. You have to specifically, you have to draw 3 cards at once, which is the max. You can draw 3 cards at the beginning of a session, and if you draw all 3 cards, so 3 fanspo at the beginning of a session, you have 3 different choices for cards, which is huge. And then as a group, you can decide which one card gets put back in the deck, if any. You might be like, nah, throw them all in the trash. But it does give the ability to kind of stick one card back in the deck. So with the suits, hammers is strength. So I just went with keeping it basic. Like the 6 attributes, you just get a +1 to that stat modifier for the whole session. So that'd be a +1 to hit, +1 to damage, +1 to skills that use strength, and so on and so forth. If it's a spell casting stat, it's going to increase your DC. It's going to be pretty good stuff. And then what I did is the same way that you have. If you use the activated ability of the card, you lose the benefits of the card. So what I did is that every suit has a passive buff to your stat, and then it has an activated ability, and then each alignment has an activated ability. So you have 2 different activated abilities you could use during the session. If you use either one, you lose the card, and therefore you lose the passive stat buff. So if you're a fighter and you don't really care about having an int bonus or whatever, you might burn yours, but like the Wizrobe is probably going to want to keep his as long as possible. Yeah. And vice versa for strength. Like the Wizard's going to probably burn the strength one, the alignment one probably if it's useful, because he doesn't really need the strength one. Yeah. So I was pretty happy with it. I did some call outs to stuff I like from 5e. I included the 3 saving throws in there. So basically, like Constitution, you get a +1 to Constitution until the card is used. And then Mythic Fortitude, you're about to make a Fortitude saving throw, but you haven't made the roll yet. You can burn the card, and then when you make that Fortitude save, you will automatically be 1 degree of success higher than you normally would. Which to me is 100% what we would be using a fanspo to do anyways, right? Like it's actually better than a fanspo, because a fanspo just lets you re-roll and you're stuck with whatever you get. This is letting you get 1 degree of success higher. That's phenomenal. That's way better than a fanspo. And I don't know why this feels okay to me compared to the other thing. I just think it's because this, like we discussed, this is outside of the game, right? Yeah. This is like it's not
I made a roll, got something bad, and then spent a currency to make it better. Right. This is okay. I spent a currency ahead of time I bought insurance.
Exactly. Yeah, I bought insurance. Thank you for donating a fanspiration to our game. I know that I'm not going to get poisoned right now, and that means a lot to me. Well, I don't know, because I might critically fail, and then it'll be boosted up to a fail. But I hopefully, thanks to you, will not fail this poison. And we were using it. Like, you have a similar card that we had, and we had them poison the snakes or whatever. Yeah, so it actually did serendipitously.
Yeah, you guys lucked out and got the Fortitude one when you're about to fight poison monsters.
Yeah. So I did that for dexterity. Happy accident. Dexterity does reflex, Constitution does fortitude, and wisdom does will save. Intelligence, I gave it the keen mind feature. So a little shout out to 5e, the incredibly broken feat like keen mind. So this is your next recall knowledge check, increases degree of success by 1 level. So if you're making a real important, like, recall knowledge check, it might be worth burning this card, because then you are pretty damn confident that obviously you didn't critically fail it, right? You know that you didn't critically fail that check.
So if you got a question, if you can answer a question, you know it's at least a success.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is a guaranteed you're gonna get some kind of information, or at least you're not gonna get bad information about the monster. Crown, I have it's called the 5th Age Bard. So you basically get 1 use of like cutting words or bardic inspiration as a reaction. So you see somebody's about to make a roll, and you can boost them, or you can knock them down, and it gives advantage or disadvantage as a fortune or misfortune effect. And again, I mean, to me, that's even stronger than a Fanspiration, because a Fanspiration would never let you cause an enemy to roll with disadvantage or to re-roll a failed save, a successful save to a fail or whatever, right? So we're basically handing out silvery barbs here, 1 out of 6 cards.
Yeah, when we were talking about this before, and you were saying like there's not a lot of things that as a person you can do to affect the enemy with your hero points for Inspiration or anything like that. That's the reason why I ended up putting Important in there, because that's the 20. You have to roll 20 to get to it, and if you guys roll 20 on the roll table and get it, then you get this, and that's your way of affecting another creature. Like if I'm casting a spell and I want them to fail the spell, and hopefully I rolled bad this for that D20. I can give it to them.
And what I like about this is a charisma caster, of which there are a lot of charisma casters in Pathfinder. They're gonna be struggling, right? Like they're gonna want to cause disadvantage on a save so that they could land their most crucial spell, but then they lose that +1 to their spell DC, to their spell attack rolls. So it's like it's tough.
You burn yourself out for the session,
Then for the alignment stuff, I really tried to kind of explore the what would be interesting and exciting to just have as an activated ability. So Lawful Good, Shield for Others, you get to cast the focus spell Protector Sacrifice, so you could take damage for an ally. Neutral Good, you just get a straight up 1 action heal, so I mean that's always going to be handy. Chaotic Good, I copied I could do this all day, so you basically get to get up from dying, which is pretty cool. And just like yours, it does have Detriment. You do become Doomed 1. So I think that it's not supposed to be solving all your problems. It's just supposed to be giving you, a risky solution.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I thought was pretty fun was the Chaotic Neutral card. It's called Desperate Turn, which I also cribbed from you. But for this one I did, your turn starts as a free action. You gain an extra action for this triggering turn. This action can be used to do anything a normal action could, including being used as part of a 2 or 3 action activity. This does not count as a quickened action, so you can be quickened on top of this. At the end of your turn, you become confused, which we all know is a terrible status effect in Pathfinder, even if you would normally be immune to that condition. If this action was used to cast a spell, you also have to roll a flat 5 or trigger a Wild Magic Surge on a failure. So it really kind of pulls that chaotic neutral vibe in there. That you could do this, but it's gonna have some consequences.
Now you're gonna be randomly hitting people and causing a Wild Magic Surge.
Now the nastiest one is this Chaotic Evil one. That's all is ashen meat. So you get this custom spell called Dark Matter. It's essentially like a scalable fireball, so it can go from level 1 all the way to level 10. So Dark Matter must be able to target at least 3 creatures, one of which must be yourself or an ally. So that's the stipulation for activating this card, is you have to be willing to do friendly fire with this ability. And it's a 1 action fireball, but you do get drained 1 from casting it. You cast Dark Matter as an innate spell. The spell is heightened to half your level, rounded up. Roll a DC 5 flat check. On a failure, trigger a Wild Magic Surge. And then what Dark Matter does is a 50-foot range, 20-foot burst, which must include you or an ally. Burst. Yeah. So it's fireball, 20 foot. Yeah. And a roaring blast of necrotic fire detonates the spot you choose, dealing 2d4 fire damage and 2d4 void damage per level. And so as it goes up in level, I mean, at level 10 it's doing 10d4. No, sorry. At level 10 it's doing 20d4 fire and 20d4 void for 1 Pac-Man. That ain't too bad. Yeah. So how it's working out is I actually found mods that allowed me to have Roll20 style deck interaction. I'm so happy. So happy about it. So like
when I was watching that prep stream and you were struggling, I was like, man, I wish I was there. Could I explain this? Because so you got to it eventually, which I'm proud.
I got there eventually, but essentially, yeah, you have to create a hand
pile.
and you have to create a pile or a hand, and then you have to tell the map, like the scene, that you are a card pile. See, I thought that was separate. I thought that you had a card pile, and that was like a zone or a region, right? Which it normally is. Yeah. It normally is. I didn't, and I thought that if you designated a scene, it would be smart enough to be like, I am a card pile. But no. It just means I will reference a card pile. But once I got that sorted out, yeah, it's been really, really cool. I really like it.
Yeah.
And then I got my discard pile like hidden over here in the bottom corner, so you can just kind of draw out a card, draw out as many cards as you need to. If you need to put one back, you just drag it back over to the deck, and it goes back into the deck.
You can make your discard. You can make your discard pile look like your draw pile by just changing the art of the. You know how when you drew out the pile and it looked like just like a stock hand image.
Yeah.
You can just change the art to make it look like your deck.
Well, I don't mind it being I don't mind it being hidden. Like I want to I don't want to clutter it up too much. But yeah. So the idea though is that if I need to, I can open up the discard pile and I can take the cards back out of the discard pile, or you just recall them to the deck and all that. I was very, very happy with how all that worked out.
Yeah.
What I did notice after only one session though is it is a chore to drag 3 buffs out onto 6 characters. And I didn't want to have to go through all 54 cards and like set them up as like magical items or magical effects or whatever. But I might have to, because like, man, is that tedious. I don't know.
I guess what you can do is make like strength as an effect, and lawful evil as an effect.
There. Yeah. And then I only have to do 2.
And then you just drag out 2. Like they pulled the strength lawful evil card, so you pull out, just drag strength and lawful evil onto them.
Yeah. Is there a way to just have a group of characters selected and just apply the effect to all of them, like we used to be able to do with convenient effects?
I mean, if they're observers or limited to the items, then you can just put it in chat and they can drag it onto themselves.
They can drag it onto themselves, but there's no like convenient effects thing where I could have the 6 of them selected, hit like a macro. The macro would apply it to all of them.
Yeah, I mean, if you put the macro on your hotbar, if you like drag the effect and put it on your hotbar, you can have them all selected and press the effect.
That's an idea.
So maybe you make them all into macros and throw them into your macro wheel.
Yeah. All right. So if I took like, where is it?
Make sure it's an effect and not make sure it's like an actual
and not
effect
ability.
Item.
Yeah.
Effect item and not like a token effect like you're burning and stuff like that. It actually has to be an effect item.
Yeah, that works. Now the other guys are actions that get added to your sheet. So it has to be the effect that while under this effect, you add these actions to your sheet.
Yeah, it's called grant item. You put it in the so you make an item called effect. You name it strength, right?
Yeah.
And then inside there, you do the rule stuff for the +1 strength and all that stuff that we found. And then you do another one that says grant item, and you grant the you put in the code thing for it, the UID.
Nice.
No, not 52 effects. You make it's 9 Darby. It's 9 suits, and then whatever the was it 9? Yeah, 99.
6 and 9. So 15. So 15 effects.
Yeah, 15.
15 effects. 15 That's not too bad. Because I did start building them out. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And so like I made 1 card and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that 53 more times.
every time you brought it up, I was like, Crash, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah, because initially, until I saw the Darby Muffin, like, it's suit-based and it's alignment-based, I was actually writing up abilities for all 54 cards. I was trying to make each card completely unique, and then my brain was like, wouldn't it be sick if, like, they could also be flipped upside down and have a reverse effect? It'd be
Oh
fun.
no.
Design 108 different cards, bro. And then I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. And then I saw the alignment and the suit thing. I was like, perfect.
You know, it would be kind of cool. If you wanted to do the whole flipping thing, just make it be the opposite of the strength. The opposite of strength, I would probably say maybe, I don't know, what would you call the opposite of strength?
Intelligence, yeah.
Yeah. So if there was a way to draw it, like every time you draw the card, they have to roll a 50-50 if it's up or if it's proper or reversed. And you just get the opposite of the thing.
I think I just want to keep the game moving, so I'll just.
Yeah.
But like that kind of stuff might come into play in Stolen Fate, because that whole adventure is like about the Hero deck. So I'm definitely looking for fun card-based mechanics for that, which is again why I'm really happy that these card mods actually work. So yeah, it's good stuff. All right, well, I think that's good. I think we covered a lot. Yeah. January already, 2025. Skyhaven has begun, and 2 more campaigns starting at the end of the month. Maybe 2 campaigns ending this month. Maybe. You started a campaign. What? Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm playing in Darby Muffin's Carrying Crown.
Nice. So yeah, it sounds like we are already off to a very busy 2025. So this isn't related to Homebrew, but has anybody figured out how we're gonna break the news to Will that once Monster Hunter Wilds comes out, no one's gonna be playing Marvel Rivals with them anymore? Is there a sensitive way?
We already said it.
Okay, he already knows.
Me and Remy were in a game. We were like, man, it's gonna be fun. But once Monster Hunter comes out,
okay. I just, like, he's real sensitive. You know what I'm saying? He's a sensitive guy. So, like, except for that one time he betrayed me in Match of the Gathering, showed his true face. But other than that, like, I mean, all right.
Who knows? Maybe all of us inside video game chat playing Monster Hunter might make him play with us.
Oof, I don't know. We'll see. You can only have 4 people in a group, anyways, in Monster Hunter, right? It's not like they
but you can have 100. You can have 100 something people in the lobby. Oh. So we're all in the same hometown.
Nice. All right. It's gonna be good times. All right. Well, I think on that note, I'm pretty tired. It's been a long week, so I'm gonna head out. I got a game tomorrow morning. Got a game Sunday morning. Got a big prep Monday night. We got a game on Tuesday. So yeah. Any announcements before we close this thing down?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out in chat. Hopefully this new Fanspiration is fun and rewarding. We'll see how it goes. And hopefully as Dom and I continue to learn more and more about Pathfinder, we can sort of slide more and more interesting homebrew into the games. We'll have to see. All right. See you guys next time.
All right. Take care.